Hi, everybody. Welcome to the To Be Brilliantly Honest show, episode 9. We always forget whenever we get here. Um, we got the boys on. Parker Drummond sit up there, backwards hat, pretty cool shirt on today. Peyton sitting in his garage, and then with special guest Dennis Petty the third. I just knew
Yes.
that. I just figured out he was the third. So he's wearing his Giants jersey, big Giants guy.
hmm
So he's here and talk a little shop with us. So let's jump
Yes,
right
sir.
into it, shall we? So topic number 1. Surveying the baseball landscape after rumors of the leagues being split into 3 divisions. So, have you guys seen the divisions?
Yes.
Yes.
They're interesting, but
They are
good.
interesting. Yeah. So, basically, what I'm thinking is they're going to split it between Arizona, Texas, and Florida,
Uh-huh.
and then I think the West, Central, and then that's how they'll do it. But
So
yeah, what
the
are you guys?
East would play in Florida, I'm assuming.
Yeah,
Okay.
in Tampa or Miami.
Yeah,
And then
because I've seen mixed things about it. So I saw one report today saying that it's a possibility that they could play in all home stadiums, just empty ballparks. So I don't know. It's mixed things.
yeah, but it depends on if they go with the 3 divisions, and then
Right.
if they just use those 3 states and go on the indoor stuff. But if they want to do it outdoor, I mean, that's fine. They can use
And
all
so
of them.
you would assume that they only play the teams in that division, right?
They have to. They can't do
Yeah.
interleague play.
Yeah, so the Dodgers would be playing essentially the AL and NL West.
Yeah.
hmm
Is there any outliers? I have the divisions written down here.
Yeah.
The AL East is still the same, but the NL East has changed a little bit. Like the Braves are in
Braves,
the
yeah.
Central,
yeah.
but they're
Yeah,
both.
so
It's 5-5 in each division.
so I'm looking at it right now. The East looks like the easiest division on paper to me. If it's held up. Yeah, the East looks probably the easiest.
I think the West might be the hardest.
You think the West is the harder? I think the Central might be the hardest.
I don't know. I mean, they have the Dodgers, Astros. The Angels are getting up there. They're good.
A's.
Yeah.
Rockies and the Diamondbacks. Diamondbacks did get better in the offseason.
Yeah, they had a good offseason. You're right.
I mean, I think, like, instead of Arizona, I feel like they should stay in Texas and Florida, but I feel like LA might be a good spot because they got Angel Stadium, Dodger Stadium, and a bunch of colleges around here.
True.
Because if you're just going to split it up if you're going to have, 10 teams playing at one ballpark,
Mhm.
it's going to be a lot. But, I mean, in Texas, they have Houston, and then the Texas
Arlington.
ballpark, and then a bunch of colleges around there. In Florida, they have Tampa Bay and Miami.
And all the spring trainings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's what I'm. I mean, so you're saying instead of Arizona, they go to Los Angeles?
Yeah, I mean, you can't play a bunch of games in the middle of summer in Arizona. I mean, yeah,
True.
Chase Field, dome, so it's indoors, but you're not going to play outdoor games in like 110-degree weather.
Well, you can start them later, so they're not as hot.
If you got 10 teams,
7 games. It's like
Yeah.
17 games. Yeah. I think the
You
other
can either
problem
do.
is Gavin Newsom. I mean, if we open up the state or not, I mean, nothing against him. It's just if, Arizona seems like it's more willing to let that happen than California at this point.
You're right. It could eventually just not even be an MLB thing. It could just be a state thing, which states are open, which could decide, say, the Dodgers playing at Dodger Stadium or playing in Arizona or Texas, like we've said. So it's kind of a evolving situation. So one quick note I'll make mention of. So if there's a chance that's all that. If there's a chance that they end up playing in their home ballparks, could you imagine Mike Trout having several games at Coors Field?
That would be a joke.
It would be a joke. So based off the playoff picture, though, it's like an evolving thing. We don't really know what it would even look like with 3 divisions.
well, I mean, at this point, we're not going to have a legitimate season. Nothing like no World Series is going to be considered like super legitimate right now.
I
Going for
tend to
any-
disagree with that.
Well, I'm just gonna go for any baseball at all is gonna be fine. I mean, I used to be cool with the idea of like waiting until things open up more, but I'm starting to understand that it's not gonna open up as soon. So just play some ball, give me something to watch.
Dennis, you have a response to that?
To what specifically?
So would play, because they're saying it would be at least 100 games, but unlikely to be a full season. So would the World Series and playoffs to you? Oh, there goes Connor. Be considered legitimate?
I think for the year 2020, all sports, no matter how you look at it, I think you have. I mean, there's no way that looking back on it historically wise, that there won't be, that it's not going to get brought up. I don't know if it makes it illegitimate, but I do understand an asterisk.
It makes it altered, essentially. Yeah, I don't think it would be illegitimate, say, if there's a World Series winner. So we'll say the Yankees go and win this World Series. I don't think it's illegitimate as much as there was just some complications that went along with it.
Yeah.
Well, Parker, do you have anything to say to that?
I mean, regardless of who wins, it's not going to be a full season. It's not going to be 162 games.
True.
And there's always going to be that group of people that says it's not legit. So, like, obviously, like a real World Series is where everyone can sit back and say they won that. I mean, obviously, Astros, and there's a big group of people saying that that's not legit. So, I mean, I don't know. As people go out there, play an entire full season and win a fair and square, it's gonna be legit. But
so we're all Dodger fans here. So if the Dodgers win this World Series, then if I'm a fan, what I'm saying is, well, just look at the banner. If it says 2020 up there, then it counts.
It does not count.
Oh, Connor's there.
Well, yeah, I'm here.
Well, what's going on? Just technical difficulty.
My lantern went out. So I have light out there, so it was going dark. So I had to. I'm inside.
Oh, there he is.
There you go. There we go.
Inside now.
Turn.
There's a movement.
All right, we'll get Connor back in this discussion. So we're saying that if the Dodgers win the World Series this year, and then there's a banner, as a Dodger fan, I'm saying it's legit.
Yeah, but you play. We talked about half the season, so it's not a full season, so there's no way it should count.
Yeah,
but if you're
say the Red Sox win, are you considering that a World Series or no?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
You would. Yeah, you would.
No, I wouldn't. I would put an asterisk next to it.
But if you wouldn't celebrate nonetheless.
I would say, good job, you won 62 games.
But you won in the playoffs.
Whatever.
It's not going to be the same thing. I mean,
it's totally different because you don't play in your home stadium if we do it in the 3 states. You don't have your home fans there. So it's totally different. So that it shouldn't be celebrated as a real World Series. It's just for money at this point.
Well, you play to win the game.
Thanks, Coach. But you play to win the game, but there's nobody going to be there to see you win the game. So why do it?
On television?
Yeah, but you don't hear that. If somebody hits a home run, the things you're going to hear is like, yeah, and then that's it.
I think there could just a hypothetical here. I won't be surprised if they funnel in crowd noise.
Yeah.
But kind of like football stadiums have in the past and got caught and got in trouble, I could see them doing that. Be weird, but.
But
I mean, you could do it in. Go for it.
Okay, there's still people out there, like right now, saying that Mookie Betts is never going to play a meaningful game as a Dodger. So, I mean, if you go out there and play 62 games, you can't really count that as a World Series if there's already people saying, no matter what, this season's not going to be meaningful.
Yeah, and to those people, I would just say you're wrong. It just comes down to that. I just think that if you're a fan of the team and they win, you have the right to celebrate that as a World Series win. And unfortunately, if the Dodgers win, people are going to hold that against them of all people because they haven't won in the past 7 years. So they're in kind of a worse position than the other teams. But say the A's win this World Series, I see that as completely legitimate. That's just my opinion. But it tends to vary, so I understand the alternative perspectives.
Well, if the A's win, for example, the A's should not how they run things. Like they pay to make it to the wild card game every year. That's
correct. Yeah, I completely agree with that.
So if there's no wild card and the A's make the playoffs magically, there's no way because teams you can be hot for 40 games or for 30 games. You can be
And then
really
get
hot,
cold.
and you can get cold, and then you can still make the playoffs and then get really hot again. But you're not the best team in the league. That's what 162 games does. It provides who the best team in the league is.
Yeah, but I think you could make the argument for that in any sport. There's been 9-7 football teams, specifically beating the undefeated New England Patriots.
Oh my god!
And
already got the
were
Giants.
they technically the best team in the league that year? Probably not, but they still won the Super Bowl and they're legitimate champions.
What I do say is, with a shortened season and playoffs, I do think it'd be super refreshing to see, like, look at if we watch a playoffs with players and pitchers that have very little fatigue compared to what they would in a regular season with 162 games. I think it'd be really interesting, and I think the playoffs, despite being no fans, and I agree there might be an asterisk next to it. It'd be exciting to watch on TV.
That is true. That's a good perspective on that. Parker, you have any additional thoughts on that?
Not really. Yeah, he said it well. It's going to be fun to see like the changes. But yeah.
Well, not if they do electronic umpires. That's a whole other.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be.
Yeah, that's a different discussion. That'll be interesting. Speaking of people on the mound and throwing strikes, so ranking our top 5 starting pitchers in baseball right now. Dennis, you're the newcomer. You want to start?
Okay. I don't know. I don't think you guys are gonna like my list. But I'll start off with number 5. You know the name? Clayton Kershaw.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, I totally understand that, and most people probably don't consider him a top 5 pitcher at this point. But I mean, this fool's gonna have extra rest, so who knows if that back heals up and he's feeling at least close to 100%. Let's not forget how dominant he was, and he's not super old at this point, tail end of his prime. But I mean, I still like him. Number 4, I go Justin Verlander.
Okay. All right.
I mean, I don't know. I like him. Not really. I don't like him at all, but he's good. Number 3, I go Scherzer. Scherzer at 3. 2, I have Cole.
That's right.
Yeah, and then number 1, I got DeGrom.
Ooh.
And then my honorable mentions, I would say this. I like Bieber and Flaherty or whatever. I don't know.
Cardinals.
Yeah, Flaherty, yeah.
I think they are entering what will be some pretty good primes for the both of them. And I think they'll probably both could crack a top 5 list at some point, but they're just not on mine right now.
All right.
And Walker Buehler could crack a top 5 list too.
That's right.
Heck yeah.
There it is.
All right, Parker, you want to go?
So I didn't really prepare a list. We're just gonna toss them out. I'm gonna say number 5 is Kershaw. He's not.
The homerism is so bad on this show. It's unbelievable.
I mean,
he's gonna have full days or he's gonna be rested. But what is he gonna chuck? 88 up there? His slider's faster than his curveball. Or faster than his fastball?
Parker's turn to speak.
Okay, Kershaw, number 5. 4, Strasburg. I'm not going to say he's the number 1 pitcher in the game, but he's definitely up there. He showed it in the World Series and the playoffs, except for when Max Muncy took him deep. And then 3, we'll go Scherzer, because that guy's a savage. Like, you can't not like Scherzer.
Yep.
And then Cole is number 2. Number 1, Connor's not going to like this, but Walker Buehler, he's the man. Walker Buehler is the man. Like,
that's so fun.
I
Can we get some objectivity in this, please?
The intensity that guy pitches with is unbelievable.
You think Walker Buehler has more intensity than Max Scherzer?
Yeah, if he was a stock, I would invest in him right now because he's gonna shoot it. It's not even, that guy is so good.
Your turn, Connor.
So number 5, he had an off year last year, really bad year actually, one of the worst I've ever seen. But when he's on, he's pretty much unhittable every time he goes out. So Chris Sale, number 5.
But he's not playing.
Objectivity in this.
So,
Your turn.
This is a
Keep
joke.
going.
Don't throw him in throwback jerseys because he's not gonna like it.
that was on the White Sox, so nobody cares. But when he's healthy and he's on, he's a top 5 pitcher in baseball. That's what your question asks. Not 2020. It says right now in
Yep.
general.
Move on to number 4.
Okay. Let's if I can make sure. Number 4, I'm gonna go Max Scherzer. You said a baldy, so it must be on Max Scherzer with his 2 different colored eyes. Number 3, I'm gonna go DeGrom. Yes, he's won back-to-back Cy Youngs, but
Jin should have won it last year, but that's fine.
who?
Jin, the Great Emperor.
Hyun Jin should have won Cy Young last year. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
God, this guy's a buffoon. This guy's a straight-up buffoon. Okay, number 2, Garrett Cole. Payne's not a fan. He thinks he's overrated, but yikes. And then on the last one, sleeper pick, Blake Snell down there in Tampa Bay. I think when he's on, he is actually the best pitcher in baseball. Yes, Park.
Is this in order? Is he number 1?
Yes.
That is shocking.
Yeah. That kid looks like he's like 16.
I mean, you are right. When Snell is on, he is dominant.
There you go. I like Dennis's sleeper picks though, or underrated. Jack Flaherty's really good. Another one is Chris Paddock. I think if he can
Cowboy Paddock, get out of here.
just because he's a Padres guy. I'm just saying if he can grow into a good pitcher and learns how to pitch instead of throw, I think he can be really good.
I thought Bieber was a good pick too. He's so underestimated, but he's gonna be an ace one day.
I like how nobody has Corey Kluber on there at all. It's because he's in Texas, but
yeah, and because he fell off.
Yeah, because his ERA was bloated last year.
Yeah.
So I'll go with mine. This was close because I think they're very similar pitchers, but I'll give the edge to Walker Buehler over Jack Flaherty on this one. Only because of postseason success. Walker Buehler in his career, 2.72 career ERA.
The man
has put up a few gems in big time situations. So
and then he also gave up a grand slam to Ronald McQueen Jr. So
in a series where the Dodgers
after he walked the bases loaded
in his rookie year.
Right, in his rookie year.
That's just not good.
So once again, even with allowing a grand slam, he has a 2.72 ERA into the postseason.
Because he walked them on, so they're not earned runs.
He walked 2.
All 3 of them were walks.
Yeah, look it up then. Number 4, Justin Verlander, last year's Cy Young winner. There's nothing that hasn't been said already about Verlander.
He wasn't last year's Cy Young. Oh, was he?
Yes, he was.
Oh, yeah, because that was a joke. I remember now.
Yeah, for whatever reason, he was last year's Cy Young winner. Future Hall of Famer. Only thing that really stood out to me about Verlander last year compared to the rest of his career, 0.172 batting average against. So that led the league. Number 3, Max Scherzer. Again, what Parker said about Scherzer was pretty accurate earlier.
What did I say?
No, maybe it was Dennis. I don't know.
Oh, no.
Someone pointed out his postseason. It doesn't really matter. Postseason ERA, dominated last year, led the league, or career high, 12.7 strikeouts per 9. Again, if I had one pitcher for one game in his career or in baseball right now, then I'm taking Max Scherzer. So without even question. Number 2, Garrett Cole, most overrated pitcher in baseball. But I will say last year was impressive, even though he's about to get rocked in Yankee Stadium. 13.9 strikeouts per 9 innings was a single season record in baseball. In 21 of 33 starts, he had more than 10 strikeouts, and he went on one of the greatest midseason tears of all time on the mound. Don't think that's really even debatable. Number 1, though, based off his last 2 years, which have been dominant, Jacob deGrom, back-to-back Cy Young winner. Since 2018, 2.05 ERA, 0.94 whip, and then this was really impressive to me. He has a 17.4 WAR for all players in baseball, only behind Mike Trout and Mookie Betts.
Yeah.
So
it's because he plays for the Mets. So I I mean, whenever he's on the mound, they have a chance to win, and they usually lose like 1-0. And
Hence
I
why
feel
he goes
bad.
like 11-8 wins and
Right.
losses every year. It's ridiculous.
Well, the first one he won was he was under 500 when he won the Cy Young.
Was he actually finished
Yeah.
like that?
All those one-run games.
Yeah, he would lose like 2-1 every game.
Yeah.
It was tough.
One, you guys nailed the alternatives earlier, the honorable mentions. One I'll toss out because I like him. I think he does a nice job in Tampa Bay also, is Charlie Morton.
Probably more than savage curveball.
Yeah.
Unreal.
Maybe the best curveball in baseball.
Oh, easily.
That's a different debate, but okay.
Different debate, yeah. Yep. All right. Third topic here. So we've already talked a lot in past shows about good old Aaron Rodgers and the controversy surrounding him. Yesterday, Brett Favre made some headlines saying that he doesn't see Aaron Rodgers finishing his career in Green Bay. So where would you guys like to see Aaron Rodgers, or where could you see him finishing his career if it's not in Green Bay? We'll leave it to the resident Packers fan here, Parker.
Yeah. So pretty much, I mean, I feel like Aaron Rodgers is one of the players that you think like you can never see him in a different jersey. But I used to think Mookie Betts was one of those guys. And
Don't even. Wow.
he's in Dodger blue for the time being, until he goes back to Boston next year. I'll
Hey.
say it. But so I mean, I don't know. He could really end up anywhere. I mean, the Rams. I'm gonna assume Goff isn't gonna be a career guy down here. I mean, they're probably gonna be in the market within the next couple of years. So I don't really have any answers.
Hey, you gave us one.
Hey,
Grant.
there you go.
Grant. All right, Dennis.
I think the Rams is interesting because I am a big Goff hater. But I got a
Ball
couple
hands, Jared
teams.
Goff.
Yeah, he's so overrated. But I got a couple teams I thought were pretty interesting. First, I mean, teams that I've seen people talk 49ers. I think that'd be interesting because he's from the area. So that'd be fun. But I just don't know why people are so quick to give up on Jimmy Garoppolo. I thought he was good last year.
Yeah, Jimmer's solid.
I've seen people say New England. I'd hate to see it. I hate to see it. Plus, he can't wear number 12 in New England.
That's true.
And I've seen people say Las Vegas, which would be cool for Aaron too. But my team that I would love to see Aaron Rodgers on is the Chicago Bears.
Whoa.
Because this is why. Aaron Rodgers, I think we all know or can tell, he seems to have a pretty large ego.
Yes.
And so if he was to really feel so disgruntled and have hatred for, the execs in Green Bay, why not stay in the division? Brett Favre went to the Jets first, but then he came back, played in Minnesota, and got to play against Green Bay 2 times a year. If I'm Aaron Rodgers and I'm feeling some type of way, I would love to play the Packers 2 times a year. And the Bears are interesting. They could use some more weapons on offense, but the defense is pretty solid. And I just think I think it'd be interesting. So I like them.
Plus, I don't really see him going to a place like Detroit in the division. If he's going to choose
I don't see
between
Detroit
or the Bears, then I agree. Plus, they've never had a good quarterback in their history, really.
Yeah, honestly. And I was thinking I almost wanted to say Vikings, but then they just they gave an extension to Kirk Cousins. So
Kirk D. Cousins. Yep.
Yeah, they don't want to win on Monday night.
Connor knows about that.
Don't even get me started.
All right, Connor, what do you think?
So I saw a couple things Colin Cowherd said today. He said the Chargers, we just drafted a guy, so that doesn't make any sense. The Jets always need a quarterback, so he could go there, slinging in New York, especially big ego. He can be Joe Namath all over again, wearing his fur coats everywhere. And then, especially with his mustache, he could rock it.
That's true. He does have a good mustache. Give him credit for that.
And then maybe I know it's weird. I'm staying in New York, though. I don't think Daniel Jones can lead your Giants over there. I'm not trying to like take a hit at you, but
that's fine.
I don't think Daniel Jones can lead that team to a championship. I think if you have Aaron Rodgers and he stays under Aaron Rodgers, it depends on when Aaron Rodgers gets there because he has 2 years left before he can leave, unless they trade him. So if he waits and then he goes to New York, who knows? We just have to see how the Daniel Jones experiment goes.
Dennis, do you have a response?
No, I think, and Joe Judge actually just said some stuff about Daniel Jones today, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm a big Joe Judge fan. I know the hype is real for me. But I will say I did. If I was still late, but if he went to Indianapolis, he'd be right next to the 500 man, Danica Patrick. They'd be good. I mean, that's it though. That's what I throw that out there.
All right. Connor, Jets I thought was good. That train wreck organization could always use a train wreck player. Parker, you actually took mine. I thought the Rams were a good option for Rodgers. Assuming they don't believe in Goff, I think Rodgers seems like a West Coast guy. I don't see him on the Niners since they took Alex Smith number 1 overall instead of him, and he's going to hold that against them forever. So if I had to choose between a West Coast team, this includes the Chargers also, I just think the Rams make sense. They have weapons there. Still have Aaron Donald in his prime. I'm assuming he'll be there in 2 years. So I liked there a lot. But my number 1, New Orleans without question. Assuming Drew Brees retires this year or next year, I feel like they're going to have an open vacancy. I do like Jameis a lot, though. I thought that was a great signing potentially if they have interest in keeping him in the long run. But he's immediately going to see Sean Payton, assuming he's still there, creative offensive play calling, which Rodgers always seemed to have an issue with in Green Bay. They always are just – I mean, he leads the league in throwaways almost every year. So he's not careless with the ball, but he's careful with the ball almost to an overextent. And then New Orleans isn't really a rival towards Green Bay. I took the opposite way of like what Dennis said with the Bears. I think he would want to leave the division. I think he always seems to have like a good heart towards Green Bay. Favre did as well, though. You could easily make that saying. But yeah, I'll take New Orleans as the place that I like Rodgers in the long run if he were to leave Green Bay. I don't think he will. That's my personal belief. I think they'll work things out. But
here's just a chestnut for you to think about. Tom Brady retires in 2 years, and Aaron goes down there to Tampa Bay to take over for him.
Yeah, certainly.
Wow.
Yeah,
with Bruce Arians, who's a known quarterback whisperer. So just a little tidbit.
Well, I will say, I don't think there's any chance he goes to New England.
No.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh,
Gotcha.
Him and Belichick would get into it. I mean, Rodgers couldn't even get along with Mike McCarthy. You think he could get along with Belichick?
Yeah.
I'll mention one more team just before we'll take a break. What about the Cowboys?
You think him and Jerry Jones would get along?
Yes, I do.
Really?
I've seen him hit a casino together.
They seem to not believe in Dak Prescott for whatever reason.
But they just paid Dak Prescott.
They haven't, though. They just franchise tagged him.
Okay, well, still, I don't think that it's the same way because I think Aaron wants to be the guy, and Aaron has been the guy in Green Bay. They don't talk about the coach. They don't talk about the owner. Well, there is no owner in Green Bay.
There's no owner.
But if he went to the Cowboys, he wouldn't be the number one guy. It'd be Jerry Jones's team led by Aaron Rodgers. He wants to be the Aaron Rodgers-led blank.
Okay. Yeah, I see that. Kind of like going along the lines of the New England argument.
Right.
Okay, I see that. All right. Looks like we're going to take a quick break, come back with some talk about the most improved team in the NFL next year and some basketball talk. So be right back.
So we're moving on to topic number 4. Yep. So after the NFL draft and free agency and all that, who will be the most improved football team in 2020? We'll start with our guest. Dennis Petty.
All right. I think it's pretty obvious where I'm going here. The New York Football Giants. And here's my reasoning. So I think Daniel Jones last year showed a lot of promise. Now, he has a lot of room to improve, 100%. 18 fumbles last year is incredibly terrible. I mean, even on rookie quarterback levels. I'm not going to shy away from that. But that comes at the cost of us having a terrible offensive line.
Yep.
We addressed that in this year's draft. I love Andrew Thomas, honestly. I wish we could have traded back, but he's NFL ready, has very little weaknesses, and I think he can become a Pro Bowl, All-Pro type tackle. With that, in the Pat Shurmur era, this hurts for me. 2 years with Pat Shurmur, we were 9-23, and of those 23 losses, 13 of those games were one possession losses.
So that's brutal.
It's not like I'm not gonna lie. Some games we did get blown out, but for the most part, it's not like we've been getting destroyed, And I think hopefully, I like Joe Judge. Hopefully what comes with better coaching is we can finish out some games, better play calling, improved offensive line. Saquon Barkley healthy next year. Hopefully, when he's healthy, he's, my opinion, the best back in the league. Undoubtedly, top 2 between him and Christian McCaffrey. I think undoubtedly they're the 2 best running backs in the league when healthy. Another thing that gets talked about bad for the Giants is our defense. I think that's tough. Well, we could use some more help definitely there. But I think people believe that our defense is worse than it really is because we don't have any stars. But I think there's a lot of guys who can play football on that team and play solid football. If they come together, play some good team ball, I think we could be the most improved team next year, looking at 10 to 11 wins.
Wow. That's
a lot.
That is a take.
Yeah.
That's scorching hot.
Yeah, it is.
Wow. Yeah, am I next?
Yeah, go for it.
I think it's tough for me. I mean, I'm obviously conflicted because I'm a Chargers fan, but I'm going to be objective, unlike all the other fools in this podcast today. I think that when you have the number 1 overall pick, I think you instantly get better. So I'm going to go with the Bengals because I think Joe Burrow himself as a character, as a person, can turn that franchise around. So he just needs a little bit of help, and he'll get there. He'll turn that franchise around. So I think that they'll beat the Browns in that division, especially if Baker Mayfield plays the way that he does. So I think the Bengals will be better and will be most improved. People are saying the Cardinals, that's just foolish. The Cardinals suck. So, yeah, wow. I said it.
Cardinals are actually my other team.
Yeah, I mean, sure, they got the Simmons guy who says he can take up 3 players on the roster. Cool beans, man. They thought that about Jabril Peppers, too. How'd he work out?
He actually was really good for the Giants last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, who talked about him?
No, because he's on the Giants' lackluster defense.
Uh-huh. But coming out of college, it was Jabril Peppers is going to revolutionize the Browns' defense. Did he do that?
No.
Okay, well, there's my prime example of how the Simmons kid is going to do the same thing.
All right.
I'm not taking it back.
All right, I'll go with mine. I'm going to completely disagree with Connor in that division. I'm going to take the Browns. Yeah, I'm going to take the Browns as the most improved team next year. So with all the chaos that happened last year with them, 6-10, in my opinion, like with everyone healthy in their lineup after free agency, that's a top 5 roster in the NFL to me. So one of the main things with Baker last year, he was absolutely awful, but their O-line was equally terrible also. They've addressed that in free agency. Jack Conklin, former Tennessee Titan, and then they just went offensive tackle in the draft as well. So that's a huge boost for Baker. They still have Jarvis Landry and Odell on the outside. Austin Hooper just signed that contract. I mean, he's okay. He's a good – I'll be real. He's a good fantasy tight end. But, yeah, so one of their best things, though, that I think they'll get a little bit of a break with is playing a third-place schedule in the AFC this year. So if I'm correct, they're going to be playing the Jets, the Raiders, and maybe Colts. I think the Colts might have finished third in that division. So I think the Browns can win each of those games. And they also played the Ravens and Steelers pretty tough last year. They beat the Ravens once. They beat the Steelers once too, and the infamous helmet game. But so yeah, I think the Browns actually getting rid of Freddie Kitchens, bringing in a new coach. I'm not a big Baker fan, so it remains to be seen if he can step up and lead this franchise into the future. But I don't think it can get much worse than last year. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he could pull a Jameson and throw 30 picks. But if 6-10 is their floor, then I think they'll go 9-7, 10-6.
Parker, what do we got for me?
So I'm gonna kind of disregard the draft because I didn't really pay attention to it. But I think personally, far and away, the most improved team, at least on paper, is the Buccaneers. Tom Brady, and then they got Gronkowski back. I feel like Mike Evans is good. I don't know, he might be a little overshadowed. I watched V60.
Yeah.
But
V60.
yeah, good story. But yeah, so that's mine.
You sound like my mom. My mom's like, I like this guy because he has a good story.
Great story.
So the Bucks were, if I'm correct, the Bucks were 7-9 last year.
Sure.
I believe so.
Sure.
I'm gonna say the Bucks go 9-7 this year.
Wow.
That's low.
Yep. I just don't. I don't think Jameis Winston gets. Don't get me wrong. He's turnover prone and was clearly blind on the field at times last year. But the man threw 30 touchdowns, and I want to say he hit 5,000 yards last year in a air raid offense.
Yeah.
So
the fact is that they even won 7 games
it's
with
crazy.
a guy who's averaging 2 picks a game.
With a guy that couldn't even see.
I know, and they won 7 games. So I think that attests to the talent on the roster, especially on the offensive side of the ball. Now, put a guy like Tom Brady, who career-wise has one of the best touchdown to interception ratios ever.
Yeah, I believe it's third.
He doesn't make mistakes. High IQ. I think his arm isn't the same as it used to, but he can still make a lot of throws. I agree. I didn't think about them, Parker, but yeah, that's a team that can easily win 13 games.
The one thing that concerns me a little bit with the Bucks, though, is their secondary. Their secondary is really concerning, double that, with the other teams in the conference. You got Russell Wilson, you still have Aaron Rodgers, Carson Wentz, Dak Prescott. Tom Brady can get in a shootout, but at 43 years old, do you want him getting in a shootout? That remains to be seen. So they will make the playoffs. They will improve, but I'll take him at 9-7.
Wow,
that's weird. I don't agree with that because they just added Gronk, who can catch the pass, but he's also
he probably ran a 6'1" 40 this year.
Hey, can you let me finish? Okay. Yes, he can catch a pass, but like you said, he's not very fast anymore. But you don't have to be fast to block people. True or false?
Correct. Do you know who their running back is?
No idea, but I'm sure he can figure it out. Sure he can figure it out.
Yep. Next topic?
Sure. He's the Bucks running back. Who cares?
All right, so there's been rumors this past week of NBA potentially coming back sometime June, July. One of the hottest topics has been what teams will be affected and which teams won't be affected by this layoff. So in your opinion, who will benefit the most from this layoff come playoff time if the season happens? Connor.
Me? Oh.
Yeah.
Hey. The Nets. Just because, I feel like that's an easy answer, but I'm sticking with it. Just off the injuries that obviously you have Kevin Durant. So if Kevin Durant comes back, you instantly become better, and you probably make it to the playoffs. And then Kyrie's back healthy. and they're still moving the ball and that kind of stuff. So
So you're under the impression KD will come back.
absolutely,
Okay.
especially if he's putting in work during the quarantine, and he probably has his physical trainer there and doing all that stuff. So I think if he comes back and it's later and they play the rest of the season and they make it to the playoffs, I think they'll improve greatly.
All right, Dennis.
I actually like that pick. I didn't really take into account that the possibility of Kevin Durant coming back. I want to say one. Clippers could because Kawhi's getting a ton of load management right now. So I think it's good for him and Paul George right before if we go like straight into a playoff, then I mean they're set. I think the Heat could benefit a lot because they just got Andre Iguodala. Jimmy Butler's had a nagging toe injury that was kind of bothering him, but I think Iguodala, you let him practice, and I mean my assumption would be he was out of shape because he was not going to play with that Memphis team, so I don't know.
Uh-huh.
But let him get into good shape and play with the team. I think they can benefit a lot, and then also the Celtics. I read a stat that the Celtics, their starting five or their best five players, so Jaylen Brown, Gordon Hayward, Marcus Smart, Jason Tatum,
Kemba Walker.
Kemba Walker. Yeah, I don't know why I forgot Kemba. Out of all the games this year, they've for a total have only been played all in the same game 14 times. They've just struggled from injury. And so if they can all come back and be healthy, and that team can be dangerous come playoff time.
Well, they're definitely in today's game. It's definitely a guards game, and I think that they probably have one of the better group of guards put together.
With
Smart,
with Brown and Kemba.
Smart, Brown, Kemba.
Okay.
Smart is a really good defender, even though he gets a lot of crap for it, all his flops and stuff. But he can be really good. And then you have Hayward, and then obviously Tatum, who's doing pretty well.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I think Tatum's gonna. I mean, he's already proven to step up in the playoffs. He's only getting better. He's one of the better young forwards in the league. So I actually like the Celtics. I thought that was a good, and I think they're the biggest threat to the Bucks in the East, personally.
Yeah.
It's definitely not the Sixers.
What's that?
It's definitely not the Sixers.
Yeah. Parker?
So I was going to go with the Clippers just because, I mean, they're like legitimate contenders, and for Kawhi, and the name of his game is load management. But, I mean, yeah, because they're in the race for sure.
All right. So not to be a homer or anything, but I do think this is the Lakers in this case. They were hot going into the delayed break and things like that. But if the Lakers want to end up winning, they need a healthy Anthony Davis. He's never played that many games in the postseason, so this extended break just gives him time to get healthy, be ready for a stretch run in the playoffs. I just think him more than anything else. I know Dion Waiters, it'll help for him to gel with the team eventually once they get into this mini training camp. Getting him in the rotation, I think, will be nice. Kind of a six-man spot off the bench, get some buckets. And then the Lakers are just an older team in general. There's no really downside to them getting some rest. So it will be long. And then if there's one person I think can overcome this long rest, that would be LeBron James. Just has proven it over and over again. And then I will say the Sixers are getting immediately healthy by having Embiid and Simmons back. I don't think they can beat the Bucks or the Celtics, but it's hard to deny that they might be the most talented starting five in the league. So I'm not against the notion that you get one of the best defensive players in the league back for the stretch run in the playoffs in Embiid. Simmons, I'm not a believer in, but I can't deny that he might be the best defensive point guard in the league. So getting both back in the lineup healthy, I don't believe in the Sixers, but it wouldn't shock me if they got to the conference finals. So I think those two for sure.
Interesting.
Not up your alley?
No, I just don't think your point guard, especially in a guards game where they shoot threes, if your point guard can't shoot with that outside of 10 feet, I don't think you can succeed.
Apparently he says that he's been working on it.
Been saying that for years. So Like his 3-point percentage or his 3-pointers went from 0 to 2 in this last season. So like, use cool beans, man. Like
That's why.
I mean, technically 0 to 2 is like an exponential increase.
okay, but that's 6 points and how many points they score in a season.
Yep. That's why people have stopped becoming, or more like one individual stopped being a Sixers fan and then became an immediate Suns fan. If you guys heard about that.
Who is this person?
Someone that formerly was with Ben Simmons is now with Devin Booker.
Oh,
I
hear about that. I saw that.
did see that. Yes.
Yeah, so that's the Simmons
Jesus.
effect.
I mean, just roaming around the teams okay. Anyway.
What's new? All right, we'll go to our last topic. So obviously we've been talking about The Last Dance recently, about some of the best teams in NBA history. So I'll name off 5 teams. Which of these teams do you think would win over the others if they were to play in today's game? So we have the – what's that?
Nothing. Go for it.
So we have the Showtime Lakers, Magic Johnson, Kareem, blah, blah, blah. The 90s Bulls, the Kobe Shaq Lakers, the 2010s Miami Heat, LeBron James, D-Wade, Chris Bosh, and we have the 2010s Warriors with Kevin Durant. So, Parker, you want to start this?
Sure, man. So I'm gonna go with I have no idea. Showtime Lakers, because they're like one of the teams that you hear most about.
Yep.
Obviously, it's not gonna be a fluke. It's like you hear about them for a reason. Obviously, they're great. So yeah.
Showtime. All right, Dennis.
My question to preface this is, when we're talking about the 2010 Warriors, are we including Kevin Durant? Because
Yes.
I originally was going to go off the best version of the team really the team that won the most games, and that'd be before Kevin Durant. But I decided, for at least when I was thinking it out, to pick the team with Kevin Durant, because obviously that is the most talented team. Looking at them, I agree with Parker. It's really hard to choose, especially mostly because I want to go with one of the Lakers teams, but I don't know if I can. I'm taking out the Showtime Lakers.
Okay.
No offense, but I mean, we talk about if we're playing today's basketball, modern games, then I got to take out the Showtime Lakers.
Okay.
Also, look, 2000. I picked 2013 Miami Heat.
Mm-hmm.
Man, dude, that LeBron, dude, I don't care who's around him, dude. Then we're not going to get into the debate, between LeBron and Michael, but that LeBron was the next level. So it's hard to go against that team because D-Wade is also great. But Chris Bosh is not guarding Shaq. Not a chance.
Yeah, that's
not
true.
a chance.
Nobody's guarding Shaq.
Yeah, and that is the reason why I think the Lakers make it so far for me, is the 2000 Lakers, that is, because Shaq is just unstoppable. There's no center on this list. Kareem's the closest center, but I already took him out. I mean, Zaza, yeah, man, you can poke him up. Draymond Green can do whatever, but they're not stopping him. So I think for me, I'm going to take out the 90s Bulls next, because this is why. First of all, essentially the same point guard. I mean, it's just an older version of Ron Harper, a few years older. If that's I think a young Kobe with an older Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan is still better, but I think he does a good enough job. He really
essentially cancel him out.
Yeah. Scottie Pippen, Rick Fox. Scottie Pippen gets the edge for sure. When it comes to power forwards, Horace Grant and Dennis Rodman, that'd be interesting to watch.
Former teammates.
But yeah, I give Rodman the edge. But I mean, Rodman. I mean, I love the Worm, man. He's a great name too, Dennis. But all he's good for is grabbing rebounds, and it's hard to grab rebounds over big old Mountain Shaq, So I guess I'll go. Yeah, it's between. I think my finals would be between the 2000s Lakers and the Warriors. And in today's game, I might actually just give Warriors the edge, but they can't stop Shaq, so it's tough. I don't know.
Connor.
I'm actually gonna go with in today's game. So like they're playing today's players.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody can stop Magic Johnson.
Whoa, wow.
Ben Simmons.
Okay. Ben Simmons
Magic
is
can shoot.
6'9". Okay, so the way Magic Johnson was kind of like the first LeBron, where he could play anywhere he wanted, except for the big center.
Well, he did in the finals once.
Okay, well there you go. So I don't think him at the point. I don't think anybody could stop him. How he could dish the ball and how he could outrun everybody. And then Kareem has the hardest shot ever to knock down or to block. I don't think anybody can stop that. And you just feed that guy in the paint, even against Shaq, because he even said it. I don't think I could block Kareem's style. I don't think anybody.
Nobody can.
So, I mean, just with those two guys, and then defensively, it's hard. I mean, like you said, Shaq's pretty hard to stop down there. But I mean, if Magic Johnson comes down and helps, or somebody comes down and helps Kareem, I think that they have a chance. But yeah, Showtime Lakers.
All right. So the one I'll immediately cross out here is the Heat. I think talent-wise, the Heat might be more talented than any of these. But their chemistry issues were a little iffy during that period.
Yeah.
You're going to need to be on point. And I don't think that's actually the best version of LeBron. I think the best version of LeBron might have been the 2017 Cavs. The series against the Warriors where he dropped 51 in game one. I think that's the best version of LeBron that we've ever seen. So I do think that this Heat team would put up fights against all of these refs, but I don't see – I just don't see that team winning. Kind of what Connor said with today's rules. So I'll pit the Showtime Lakers against the Warriors in this case. Today's rules concerns me with the Lakers in that case, with the Warriors having such a three-ball centric league, or they've started that entire revolution. There's no hand checking in today's game. That's a huge part of it. And just having Kevin Durant, basically a 7-footer at this point, he's what puts me over the edge in terms of anything. I don't think Magic could stop Durant, and I don't think Durant could stop Magic. But if that's the case, then, I mean, you still have essentially Andre Iguodala, Klay Thompson, the great Draymond Green, as he tries to proclaim. And then, I mean, Warriors had a deep bench as well. So not to say that the Lakers didn't, but I just like the Warriors in today's game a little more. So I'll give them the edge going to the finals. And then I'll pit the 90s Bulls against the Lakers. This has been really, really close for me. But the Lakers were so paint-centric with Shaq at that time. And yes, Kobe could dominate late in games, and he did dominate. I mean, no Kobe, then there's no title. No Kobe or no Shaq, then there's no title any of those years. But kind of what you said about Kobe and Jordan earlier, I will actually give the edge to Jordan in his prime over Kobe at this point. I just think that Jordan was a more complete player on both sides of the ball, defensively as well. You have Scottie Pippen's one of the best wing defenders of all time, if not the best. Rodman also. That just entire team is so great defensively that, not to say that they could stop Shaq, but I think they could find a way to at least contain him, whether it's making him shoot free throws, something. And just single-handedly, as much as Kobe's my favorite athlete ever, I don't see Kobe single-handedly being able to beat those 90s Bulls. So I'll put the Bulls going to the finals versus the Warriors. And then this Warriors team, today's game, yes, like I said, they've revolutionized the entire sport, but they are maybe the softest group of players that has ever been seen in the NBA. I think Rodman would get Draymond ejected within a minute. I think he would bait him into that. And then I just – people say, like, the Shaq argument, who's going to stop Shaq? Well, who's going to stop Michael Jordan? Let's be real here. Klay Thompson's an elite defender, and I don't think he would – I think Jordan would drop 40 on him every game.
Yeah.
So – I'm assuming that puts Durant on Scottie Pippen. I see that as a pretty close matchup, but I just give the edge to the 90s Bulls. I think they're the most influential team in NBA history. I think they're the best team in NBA history. It's an interesting debate, though. You guys all made good points, so I'll take the 90s Bulls in the end.
Well, to argue that point is, yes, you have Jordan on Clay, but the point guard, whoever
Steph?
it was, yeah, I think Steph can still take over. He can drop 60 if Kevin
On
if
those
Durant's,
Bulls?
if Durant's not open and Clay's getting locked down. I think he can take over a game by just how ridiculous he can shoot from wherever, no
Mhm.
matter who's around him. So I think
sure.
if he gets hot, like, he's hard to stop. And then especially it's not like I don't remember who the Bulls point guard was at that time.
Ron Harper.
Okay. Well, was he an elite defender?
Yes.
Okay. Well, still.
I agree. I get what you're saying. Steph Curry is like any great player. He's unstoppable. There's nothing that's going to stop him no matter what they throw at him. He has the deepest range of any player probably ever. So I do think he could take over games, but he's proven time and time again in the playoffs, in the finals. He's not the most clutch player of all time. So if he's the one that's forced to win a game, if it's between, we'll say, even if it's Scottie Pippen versus Steph, I just like the Bulls when it matters most late in a game. I like the Bulls more than I like the Warriors.
Yeah, and also I think realistically, I think if this was like a playoff series that would actually happen, I think Jordan guards Curry anyways.
Mhm.
And also, if I know we didn't really talk about this, but the coaching edge for sure goes to the Bulls. I like Steve
Yeah.
Kerr, but Phil Jackson's arguably the greatest coach in basketball history. So
Yep. That's a
Ever heard
good
of Steve
point.
Knight
Steve Knight.
or
The
Bob Knight? Bob
Congressman?
Sorry,
You're
Bob
25.
Bob
I got
Knight's
it.
NCAA.
I'm fully aware, but he
Well,
said
I
basketball
said
history.
basketball history. Yeah, that's fair.
So suck on that one.
My bad. He doesn't have 11 rings, though.
Okay.
Bill Russell.
Yeah.
was.
He just throws chairs at people. So
Yes.
that's why
yes,
I
he
like him.
does. And didn't he choke out a player, too?
Oh yeah,
Yeah. Bobby Knight's a great person.
he's a winner.
But yeah, so I think it's an interesting argument. I think everyone makes good points on there. So we have any closing remarks to end the show?
Dennis?
Yeah. Thank you guys for letting me on.
Dennis.
It was
Nice.
a pleasure.
It was a pleasure to have you on.
Thank you.
Yes. Connor, you have a closing remark?
No, just rest in peace, Andy Dalton in Cincinnati. That's all I got for
Oh,
you.
yeah. Fallen
Red
soldiers.
Rocket.
Yeah. But if he goes to New England, it's okay. So, I mean, for Andy Dalton exclusively, not for me. I don't care. But
Red
Andy
Rocket.
Dalton and Dalton slinging the rock in New England could be deadly. Just saying.
It'll be 21 touchdowns and 16 picks.
Whatever.
Parker, you got anything?
Not really. Go Walker Bueller.
Hell yeah.
Shout out McKenna D getting into Northridge, by the
Yep.
way.
Yep. I'll shout out half my home state right now, Florida. Disney World might be getting the NBA.
Saw that.
So yeah, Mickey might be playing LBJ or hosting him rather.
Oh! I will court you. Oh!
All right. It's been a good show. Dennis was a great guest. He's welcome back on the show, friend of the show.
Friend of the
Thank
show.
you.
Indeed.
Yep. All right. This has been TBBH,
Goddamn right.
presented by New York Football Giants.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
That's our sponsor. All right. It's good.